The captains have met at the center of the field. Number 12, of course, is the honorary captain, Roger Staubach of the Cowboys. We talked about this place being packed with emotion. And when the two teams came out to be introduced, look what happened. You talk about getting ready to play.
I don't think in all my years I've ever seen that, Pat.
I never have.
Well, what they did is they introduced the 49ers, and they didn't run out to the middle of the field. They just stayed there in the end zone. And, you know, the interesting thing, the guy that kind of started all that for the 49ers was Jerry Rice.
And that's the guy you would least expect, I think, to start something like that. He has the image of being such a, well, almost like Roger Staubach, so revered.
I think that he's had enough talk about the Cowboys being America's team, enough talk about who's the best wide receiver. The last time they played, Michael Irvin had a big day. Jerry Rice didn't. I think that has been eating on him for a long time.
Well, he admittedly says that he's been thinking about this rematch. The Cowboys have won the toss with their honorary captain. Kofor will kick off. Back deep for Dallas, Kevin Williams and Brock Marion.
I think that's the fun thing about this, Pat, that everyone has been looking forward to this one. You could see this one all year coming. That the Cowboys and the 49ers have always been the two best teams in the NFC all year.
You couldn't ask for anything more. This is going to be played at the highest possible level. The emotion, the championship, the Super Bowl, they are ready. Kofor's kick will be handled by Brock Marion. He gets out to about the 25, where the Cowboys will start there. Troy Aikman. In front of Troy, the offensive line has Tourné Newton, John Giesick starting at center. Kevin Gogan and Eric Williams. A good, big offensive line. Emmitt Smith, Darrell Johnston, Michael Irvin and Alvin Harper, the wide receivers, and Jay Novacek, the tight end. So Aikman brings him out on 1st and 10 from the Dallas 25. Emmitt Smith is the lone setback. That's Novacek on the move, and Aikman will put it up. Outside Novacek. Outside the 30. A gain of about 7. Stopped by John Johnson. Here is the 49er defensive line. Wilson, Washington, the rookie Dana Stubblefield, who's had an outstanding year. The linebackers, Romanowski, Walter, and John Johnson. In the secondary, Griffin and Merton Hanks, Tim McDonald, and Eric Davis. 2nd and 3. Again, the only back behind Aikman is Emmitt Smith. Emmitt tossed for a loss. First hit by Carl Wilson.
That's what the 49er defense was talking about. Not only to get to Emmitt Smith, but get to him in the backfield, get penetration. And on that first play there, you see Carl Wilson get it. Carl Wilson is going to be here. Now, again, you have to keep the defense on this side. He breaks that plane. Now, watch what he does. He just comes right there. He comes to the inside, then starts going back to the outside. And there was no inside, nor was there a bounce out.
Romanowski filled it inside. Aikman back to throw. They lost a yard last play. Outside, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt still on his feet into 49er territory to their 43. 44 make it. Tim McDonald tripped Emmitt up.
Now that right shoulder sure looked okay because you could see him picking them up with his right hand there. And again, he said last week that it affected his running style, that right separated shoulder. But you watch him move here and watch his running style, that right hand is not affected. You see how he has to keep it out there and move it to balance, move it to keep guys off, and then at the end, move it to hold on to the ball. He did all those things.
A gain of 28 yards on the pass completion from Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Reverse to Harper, who can throw it left-handed for Irvin. Incomplete. Merton Hanks back to break it up. That surprised no one.
You know, one thing about Jimmy Johnson, he's always going to have a trick in there, and he's going to have the trick early. Watch, here comes Harper around on the reverse. They pull Big Gogan out there. See 66, see Nate Newton. He has pretty good protection. He just throws it as long and as hard as he can, but Michael Irvin doesn't get open. That did not fool Tim McDonald.
Pass a little bit behind, but it was not that bad a throw. 2nd and 10. This time Darrell Johnston lines up in front of Emmitt Smith. Fake to Smith. Aikman is going to run it. Chased by Romanowski, but he gets enough for a first down. Down to the 49er 31.
Troy Aikman's not a big runner, Pat, but if you give him a lane, or you give him an opening, he'll do that just enough to you that you know that he's not a sitting target back there.
You have to honor it. He picked up 12. I wouldn't call that a scramble. I just call it a run.
It was a run, yeah. He just run and then got the first down and then ran out of bounds. Remember the last time against the Giants, he ran twice, and the second time he ran, he pulled a hamstring muscle.
The opening drive of the NFC Championship game. Darrell Johnston on the move, and this is Emmitt Smith. Smith finds Tooney and Newton. Stopped by Hanks.
I think on this opening drive, the Cowboys have answered some questions. You know, is one, how is Emmitt Smith, and are they going to have him in there, and is he going to be effective? The answer is so far yes.
Well, they asked Jimmy Johnson earlier this week how healthy Emmitt was, and he said, I think he's going to be healthy. And they asked him again and again and again, and finally he said, hey, he's well. I pronounce him well.
And that's what Emmitt said when we asked him Thursday, how are you? And he said, well, Jimmy Johnson pronounced me well.
He gets the carry. Smith tripped up, tried to cut back. Still got about 3. Carl Wilson tripped him up.
I think with that right shoulder, the thing that the Cowboys were worried about is that not the first hit or the second hit, but Emmitt Smith is hardly ever tackled by the first or second guy, but where he would be bothered by that third and fourth guy coming in there.
3rd and 1, and now the Cowboys will put Kevin Gogan, who normally plays guard, at left offensive end.
And the fans started to chant Moose, but what Moose is going to do is lead. He's going to be the lead blocker.
Emmitt Smith. First down, Dallas to the 20. Wilson and McDonald.
And that's exactly what he did. We said that here's the Moose. They're yelling, Moose, Moose, Moose. Well, what Moose is going to do is lead, and Emmitt Smith is going to get right in behind him. You know that, boom, he finds the hole, just enough soft spot there to get that first down. I don't think that the people here, you know, they're knowledgeable fans here, and they know that the Moose isn't going to get a heck of a lot of carries, but he's going to do a lot of lead blocking, and he will catch some balls.
Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl for the 4th consecutive year. So one of these two will face the Bills. Aikman swings it out to Emmitt Smith. Close to and picks up at first down. You just don't realize how strong Emmitt is.
Well, if you look at him from the waist down, you can see how strong he is. That's where all his power is. I mean, he has big, very strong legs, and he is a powerful man, and he never gives you anything to hit. Hey, this is darn near a perfect drive, isn't it? The way they started out here. Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays, has great mixture, run and pass, and who he's throwing it to.
1st and goal from just inside the 10. Lassick is the deep back now. The rookie from Alabama. He gets it fake from Aikman, who rolls and will throw it. Maybe. Aikman steps out at about the 5.
Ted Washington of the 49ers is down on the field, Patty. Something happened. He went down right away.
Let's see what happened to him if we can.
Well, what happens is you'll see why Aikman runs here. You see if we can stop it here. You can see that He's looking here. He wants to cross here, and it's not open yet. So he's going to keep trying to come running out here to the right to try and find an opening. It is there, but he didn't see it. He missed it when it was right about there, and now he's at a point where it's too late to throw it, so he thinks that he can get it as close to the goal line and get it about inside the 5-yard line.
That was Scott Galbraith, the backup or the second tight end for the Cowboys. It was open and waving right at the goal line. Ted Washington grabbed his left leg while he was on the ground, and he's still down and in pain. 9:04 left to play in the first quarter in this NFC Championship game. 0-0 score. Ted Washington standing up under his own power now. They brought a chair out to help him off the field, but well, let's see what happens.
You know, if you see, here he is right here, and you're going to see number 79, Eric Williams of the Cowboys, just knock him down. And Eric Williams, right there, see him hit him right there? Eric Williams is so strong that when he just hit you, he just kind of presses you right into the carpet. Watch it, it's right here in the middle of the screen. See that hit there? I mean, he just kind of presses everything. I think all the weight goes to that one leg after he got punched by 79.
This guy is so big and so strong, it's almost scary.
Yeah, he wouldn't be fun to play against.
No.
I mean, that he'll hit and he'll knock more guys out than any tackle in this league.
Well, we've seen him do similar things to what just happened to Washington in games earlier this year. Artie Smith has taken Washington's place. Washington's left leg.
And, you know, the 49ers have a shortage inside. They have Dana Stubblefield and Ted Washington. Artie Smith is a guy who was a rookie who is a defensive end. And so they have to bring him in there now. And he's really not a tackle. He's more of an end.
Not big enough, really, to be playing inside.
And I think that the Cowboys running game, you know, would anyway pick away at that middle of that 49er defense. But from now on, I think they're going to pick away at that all day.
Second and goal from the 5-2 tight end offense for the Cowboys. Here's Emmitt Smith. Touchdown, Cowboys. Emmitt Smith from 5 yards out behind Giesick and Gogan.
You know, Pat, there's the guy that you talk about a drive, and Norv Turner knew that he was going to start this game with Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith handled the ball 7 times on that drive. 6 runs and 1 pass.
They got the opening kickoff. The extra point by Eddie Murray is good. And Dallas leads San Francisco 7-0 first quarter. At Texas Stadium, the NFC Championship. Dallas 7, San Francisco 0. Murray to kick off. High and short, handled by Dexter Carter. And Carter down at about the 23, but a flag on the play.
Now, if you watch the touchdown again, here's Gogan. He weighs about 330. Here's Eric Williams. He wears 330. You just get in behind those guys.
A little scuffle again. Now back to the touchdown.
Well, it starts here with a double team here. They just knocked this. Gogan gets this guy. Giesick gets his guy. And I don't think anyone touches Emmitt Smith.
Not until he's in the end zone.
Watch, if you got big, powerful guys, watch them. Whap, you just move them off. You turn them, you drive them. And Emmitt Smith can walk that one in there.
The 49ers were called for holding on the kickoff return, so they moved back to inside their own 10, about the 9. It'll be 1st and 10 from there.
And they're a little frustrating. It's tough when the first time you get the football, there's 8 minutes, 33 seconds left in the quarter.
And you're starting at your own 9-yard line.
And you just had a penalty and a fight.
Steve Young throws outside to Ricky Waters. Waters hammered out of bounds. Young, the quarterback, had a great year. In front of him, a smallish but very effective offensive line. Wallace, McIntyre, Sapolo, Tam, and Barton. Ricky Waters and Tom Rathman, the two backs. Rice and Taylor, the two ever dangerous wide receivers. And Brent Jones, another lethal target at tight end. 2nd and 2. Rice is the motion man. Waters cut down, lost the ball. They say he was down. Larry Brown up to hit him first.
That was a heck of a hit by Larry Brown. You know, when you run a sweep, those outside guys, those corners have to be what they call the force guys. When you get outside, you got the force right there. There's Larry Brown, 24. That is a heck of a force. Of course, the ball came out after Ricky Waters was down, and the officials, you know, they were pointing to the ground. The ball was dead.
He lost 2. 3rd and 4. Young to throw. Young to run. Doesn't get it. Jimmy Jones.
Again, great coverage out here by Larry Brown. Watch here. This is where Steve Young is trying to throw. He's looking to his left, trying to throw out here to John Taylor. Brown is up on him. You see him? That made Steve Young pump it out there. Brown had the good coverage, and that's what you call a coverage sack.
Can't cover any better than that. Klaus Wilmsmeyer is the 49er punter. They're just not used to punting very much.
You know, we were talking to Jimmy Johnson the other day, and he said he looked at all the 49ers punts all year, and all year, they're 16 games, they've only had 15 punts returned against them.
And there's a penalty on that last play. And if the Cowboys, I think, were trying to decide, Jimmy Johnson, was whether to accept or whether to force that punt.
I think he wants to find out what the penalty is and how many yards.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 80, offense. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
Personal foul is called against Jerry Rice.
That's the second surprise of Jerry Rice. We talked in the pregame, he almost started a fight. And you see him up on top. You see him right there, number 80, on the sideline there. And it had to be something that happened after that.
Never did see what he did. Wilmsmeyer. His kick is a line drive, will be handled by Kelvin Williams. Fair catch. The Cowboys take over at their own 39. They lead the 49ers 7-0 first quarter. (7-0) at Texas Stadium. And the 49ers have made some defensive changes. Remember, Ted Washington came out with an injured left knee.
Yeah, we can see what they're doing now, Pat. They're taking Carl Wilson right here. He started at the right end. He's going to play left end. Then they're going to put Artie Smith, number 95, over at the right end. Take Dennis Brown right here, play him at right tackle. He was a left end. So everyone on the defensive line, because of that injury to Ted Washington, other than Dano Stubblefield, have changed positions.
Stubblefield stays in the middle, right across from Giesick. The pitch is back to Emmitt Smith. And Smith gets about 6. And you're so right about his injured shoulder. So far, it doesn't look like he's hampered at all.
And if they keep moving the ball like this and scoring points, maybe the fourth quarter won't be as important as you thought it was earlier. But the 49er defense is just being dominated by this Cowboy offense, especially those offensive line. I mean, they just look like they're too quick and too big and too strong for them. They just knock them off the line.
They just look like they lean on them and they go backward. Smith again. Not much this time. Hit by Mike Walter, who had a big game last week at Candlestick against the Giants.
Well, you know, the thing the 49ers know is when you play against Emmitt Smith, you not only have to take the onside, the side that he's running to, but you have to take away the backside, because if you leave him a backside, he'll cut back. And that's what Mike Walter has to do. He has to stay behind Emmitt Smith when he goes to the onside, for that cutback to the backside.
3rd and 2. Cowboys at their own 47. Aikman has the first down to Emmitt Smith. Not only is he so effective as the ball carrier, he's an excellent pass receiver.
But you know, he has to find a hole, and you'll see he starts here. He's going to end up catching a ball over here, but he has to find his way through the line to get out here. And then in doing that, they kind of lose him in there. You see him hide in there, then get behind the defensive line coming across. That is a very tough pattern to cover.
The linebacker is assigned the coverage, but he's got to keep up with a very fast, very quick running back, Emmitt Smith. And here he is again. To the 49er 39. Merton Hanks made the stop.
See, the 49ers are now involving their safeties. We see Merton Hanks on that time. The guy that had the cutback was the safety. He's the free safety, and he's the guy that came up and took the cutback. Now we know that they also take Tim McDonald, their strong safety, and he's a big run player. So what happens is you start getting those safeties up, and then pretty soon you're going to be open deep to some wide receivers.
2nd and 7. Fake is to Smith this time, and Aikman is going deep for Harper. Through his hands. Would have been a difficult catch, but it could have been caught.
I think the Cowboys saw the same thing. When you see Merton Hanks or Tim McDonald out there, you know that out here on this side that you're going to get man-to-man coverage. And that safety's so concerned with the run that he's not going to be out here with Harper. So you're going to take a shot. You can't get a better shot than that. Harper just he needed about 2 more inches on his fingers there.
Eric Davis, the 49er defensive back, 3rd and 7.
Remember Harper on Eric Davis in last year's championship game.
The 49ers remember that.
Eric Davis remembers.
Pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Dana Stubblefield is number 94, clapping like he might have gotten his hand on it.
Yeah, we're talking to Dana Stubblefield. He only weighs 280 pounds, which, you know, sounds like a heck of a lot. You know, guys weigh only 280, but he's playing against guards that weigh 320. And he says he has to use leverage. He has to get up underneath. That time it was John Giesick. Get up underneath, and then when you see the pass, just get your hand up and close the passing lane.
If you know you're not going to get there, that's the next best thing. John Jett to punt in the direction of Dexter Carter. This one is hanging high and into the end zone. So they'll start at the 20. First quarter at Texas Stadium, the NFC Championship game. This is the Dallas defensive front 4. Haley, Lett, Casillas, and Tolbert start. But they'll keep some fresh people in there from time to time. Darren Smith, Norton, and Edwards, the linebackers. And the secondary, Kevin Smith and Larry Brown, the corners. Woodson and Everett, the 2 safety men. 1st and 10 San Francisco at their own 20. Young back to throw it. Flag on the play already. Steve Young for John Taylor. Shakes 1 tackle. No play, I believe.
But they sure caught Charles Haley on that. You know, they're going to pay attention to him. He's their biggest pass rusher, the Cowboys.
Full start. Number 74, offense. Prior to the snap.
And
No
74
play.
is right here,
Penalty.
Steve Wallace.
First down.
He's the guy who has to block Haley, but watch Haley take it inside and beat him to the inside, and then Ricky Waters is going to meet Haley right there. They're not going to let him get there. But see that little flinch by Wallace? That's what they call. See that thing right there? There's old Ricky Waters knocking him down. But they called the flinch on Wallace, number 74, before the ball was snapped. Now, Steve Wallace has always had problems when he's playing on the road because he has a tough time here in the snap count. He's deaf in one ear.
And it is loud here at Texas Stadium today. But that's what a pass rusher like Haley will do to you. He makes you jump like that.
And Haley knows that. Of course, you know, he played with the 49ers for 6 years, and he knows that. And he knows what Wallace can do.
On top of that, it looks like Steve Wallace has got his ear holes in his helmet taped from the inside.
Yeah. And I think that's the ear. I think he's deaf in the left ear, so he just has that thing taped anyway.
Steve Young outside. report from the 49ers as Ricky Waters makes the reception on Ted Washington, who was injured earlier. His knee and his ankle are both injured, and he is, as was said to us, in excruciating pain.
Yeah, and that's just one of those things that it's a turf injury, artificial turf, where he was just kind of pressed to the ground by the strength of Eric Williams.
Second down, about 9. Steve Young back to throw. Rice. 49ers get their first down at the Dallas 37, at their own 37, beg your pardon.
Yeah, we were talking about Steve Wallace here and being deaf in that left ear. Charles Haley, the best pass rusher, and what they're going to do is they're always going to help him. They're not going to let Haley beat him. Watch, you see, he takes the outside, and watch here. Ricky Waters comes and chips him off, see? Then knocks him right back into Wallace again. They are not going to let Charles Haley go unmolested without 1 or 2 guys to get to Steve Young.
First and 10, 49ers. Ricky Waters outside the 40, about the 42. Stopped by Casillas.
Ricky Waters was saying he was talking to his dad this week, and he and his dad figured out the game plan for this week. And what the game plan is to run right at him. As he said, you know, take the wood to him in the first half, then in the second half, bring out his moves. His straight arms, his spinners, do the finesse stuff in the second half. But take it to him in the first half, soften him up, use your moves in the second half.
Bring that full load of wood. Here's Young. In the pocket, gets it to John Taylor, and Taylor swings into Dallas territory to the 40. Run out of bounds by Dixon Edwards, but good yardage by the completion from Young to Taylor.
Now watch, you know, we talked about Charles Haley and what he can do and what Steve Young has to do to throw the ball. See, he gets a little double there. He grabs John Taylor, goes inside of Steve Wallace, and watch him hit Steve Young just as he throws the ball. That's what he was saying the other day. He said, I don't care if he throws it or not. We have to knock Steve Young down and make him know we're here all day.
We have to rattle him. First and 10, 19-yard pickup on that completion. Here's Young to throw it again. They fake a screen pass, and Steve Young has got all kind of room to run. Down inside the Dallas 25, he goes out of bounds. First down, San Francisco. Rathman with a good block.
You know, that was Charles Haley again, Pat. They were trying to throw a screen pass to Mark Logan. Charles Haley stopped his rush and came off on Logan. And then Steve Young was looking out to his left to Logan. Watch Haley right here. He's going to start. Logan's going to come out here and try and get a screen pass. Haley's going to drop off with him. See him rush? Now watch, he sees the screen here. See, and he goes back, and he gets between Young and Logan, so Young had to run to the other side.
And turned it into a 49er first down. Here's Ricky Waters inside the Dallas 20 to about the 18. Haley around his ankles.
You know, and Haley has a bad back that everyone knows about. In fact, he's going to have surgery on that back after the season, but he can just get ready. He said, I can get ready for the 49ers. I don't care about my back. I'm not going to be worried about the back.
Well, everybody knew about the bad back. He told us something the other day I didn't know about. He's got a bad knee to go along with it.
And he has one leg shorter than the other. That's why he walks sideways.
But he can play.
He's 6'3" on one side and 6'4" on the other.
To Rice. At about the 10.
Now, this is a heck of a drive by the 49ers, though, running and passing. Now, again, they know that they want to get the ball to Jerry Rice and to John Taylor, and that's what they're doing on this drive. Like Mike Shanahan said, that's what we have to do. We have to get the ball out there. The heck with fooling with, you know, tight ends and backs and that stuff. Rice and Taylor are going to have to be the guys that beat him in the passing game today.
5 passes, 5 rushes. That's the kind of balance the 49ers are looking for. It's first and goal. Waters and Rathman. Ricky Waters, who got 5 touchdowns last week, nudges ahead for about 3.
Oh, see, that's what he said. He's just going to take a boom. He's just going to go straight ahead. No finesse. That time he ran right into his own guy, Guy McIntyre's left guard.
That's the end of the first quarter. The NFC Championship game. Dallas leading San Francisco 7-0 as we begin the second quarter. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Charles Haley, who is in almost every play involved in some way on this 49er drive, just stopped by for a visit in the San Francisco huddle.
I would love to have heard what he said when he was in their huddle.
Maybe it wasn't a social visit. Here's Steve Young. Good. Tom Rathman, and Rathman lunges into the end zone. Touchdown, San Francisco.
That was a heck of a drive. I mean,
I'll tell you what.
The Cowboys started the game, and they had a great offensive drive. The 49ers came back and answered it with this. Watch Tom Rathman. You think he's going to be a lead blocker. Now, that was Steve Young's second receiver. You see him? He looked out there to the left, kind of pumped it out there, and then came back to Rathman right up the middle.
Kofer for the extra point with Steve Bono holding. Young was 6 out of 6. Kofer's extra point ties it. 7-7 the score. The Dallas scoring drive 75 yards. The 49ers scoring drive 80 yards. 4 rushes, 5 passes. Touchdown to Tom Rathman.
Hey, one thing we have a lot of things in this game, but one thing we have is true fullbacks with Tom Rathman on one side, Daryl Johnston and Moose on the other side.
Kofer's kickoff will be handled deep in the end zone, and Kevin Williams will stay there.
Yeah, if we look at the touchdown again, we'll see that Steve Young is going to look to his left. And if we can stop it right here, he's looking right here at Brent Jones, who's covered by Dixon Edwards. Now he has to come off of that, and then he looks right down the middle, and he finds number 44, Tom Rathman. See him come off? He was looking there first, comes back to Rathman, who looked like he was going on a lead block, and he was wide open in the middle.
Norton finally picked him up, but too late. 49ers even things at 7. Dallas first down at their own 20. Aikman going right to work. Passes to Harper, complete. First down Dallas. For a report on the physical condition of Ted Washington, let's go down to Jim Gray.
Okay, Pat, thank you very much. The report is not good. Dr. Michael Dillingham of the 49ers tells us that Washington has suffered a fractured left tibia plateau, which is just below the knee. He is immobilized. He's in a splint. He's in excruciating pain. He obviously will not return, so the news is not good. Back upstairs to you, Pat.
Not good indeed. Thank you, Jim. First and 10. Dallas at their own 36. Aikman again will throw it. Incomplete. Irvin coming across the middle, but the 49ers had that one diagnosed well.
Yeah, you want to see, we were talking about Eric Williams. Watch his first move. This right hand comes boom, or right up to the face every time. That's not a bad move. I mean, you got to get your big arms out there, and you see the hand, the right, and then the left. And he gets him right to the face of that guy, and then he moves his head. Then he gets the pass rusher's head turned, and he's probably right now, I think, the toughest tackle to rush against in this league.
Certainly the strongest. Emmitt Smith, 2nd and 10. Emmitt out of bounds at about the 40 by Larry Roberts.
You know, he's so big and so strong that when he just gets his hands on you, I mean, just watch Eric Williams again on this play. He's going to block number 91, Larry Roberts. But when he hits him, I mean, they just kind of go sideways and flop around in circles and stuff, and he doesn't really tee off on things. He just kind of hits you and pushes you. And when he does, you just kind of go backwards and sideways.
It looks like he's not almost effortless, but people come flying away from him.
I think right now he's the best offensive tackle in football.
Third down, Aikman back. Pass caught by Michael Irvin in 49er territory. First down, Cowboys.
And remember last time they played, Michael Irvin had a big day, caught 12 passes. This is the first one he caught today. Here he is out here. You know it's just a matter of time. If you play off him like this and you let him have that much cushion, he's just going to take that little out or come back, and Aikman can throw that thing perfectly. I I mean, Aikman has a strong arm, a quick release, all those things that a great quarterback has to have.
1st and 10 for Aikman and the Cowboy offensive unit. Fake to Emmitt Smith. Aikman. Novacek. Another 1st down. Eric Davis, the defender.
You know, both these teams could do this to each other. I mean, they're so fun to watch play offense. I mean, you could go from a Harper on one side to Irvin on the other side to Novacek to Darryl Johnston. Then you can take Emmitt Smith. You can run him. You can throw to him. If you like offensive football, this is one great game.
And this man's team, George Seifert 49ers, have just as many weapons. Aikman is 7 out of 10. Smith. Inside the 35, stopped by Romanowski after a pickup of about 4.
I think the game is starting to calm down emotionally. You know, you play these big games, and the thing you worry about is that you're too fired up. You know, that you're going to do stupid things. And I think maybe in the first quarter, the 49ers were too fired up. I mean, they had some penalties. They had some, you know, things, some miscues. Then offensively, they started going. Defensively, I don't know that their defense is going to be able to stop the Cowboys all day.
Novacek on the move. Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Inside the 49er 20, down to about the 16. 1st down, Cowboys. Eric Davis knocked him out of bounds.
See all those things a great running back has to do, Pat. I mean, you know, he has to now. He wants a break here, but he has to be able to get open, catch the ball, move, you know, move his legs, move his head, move his body. Then even throughout that, switch the ball from the left hand to the right hand so that the ball is towards the sidelines.
And then he has to take a little breather. And he's replaced by Derek Lassick.
That was one of the things that Jimmy Johnson said he wants to do is play Emmitt for a whole game, but give him breathers.
Aikman. Incomplete, intended for Irvin. It was in the basket. It just didn't stay there.
Well, you know, Irvin is so big and so strong that he usually wins these battles. This time, number 25, Eric Davis wins the battle. I mean, Eric Davis gets in there, has that left hand a little behind, maybe gives him a little push, gets that right hand up in front of his face and eyes, and you know, it's tough out there. I mean, it's tough out there being man-to-man on an island, and you have to do some things. Maybe he did push a little, maybe did grab a little face mask, but if you can't do those things, you can't cover Michael Irvin.
It's impossible. 2nd and 10. Draw play, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt sort of weaves his way down to about the 12. Pickup of 4, perhaps. Stopped by Mike Walter and Dennis Brown.
You know, the Dallas Cowboys only have about 4 running plays, and the one that they run most of the time is that draw or lead draw. There's Norv Turner here. He's the offensive coordinator and probably going to be in the next couple of weeks the head coach of the Washington Redskins, but he was upset because he doesn't like to have 3rd and this long. He hoped to, you know, pick up about 4 or 5 yards and get a 3rd and short or a 1st down.
3rd and 6. Flag on the play as Aikman fires complete to Irvin. Beg your pardon, this is Harper.
How did he get that ball in there to Harper? There looked like there were 6 or 7 red shirts there. I mean, that was an amazing thing how he zips that. I mean, we know he's quick. He's a great reader. He sees things, but look at those defenders there. I mean, he threw it in front of one and back of one and the side of the other.
Offside, number 94. Defense. Penalty is declined. 1st down.
Penalty decline. Look at it again.
Well, Harper's running a slant. Now you see his move to Eric Davis. He took that left hand and just put it right to Davis's face, and he has to hit him right there before it gets to the safety. He has to get him just beyond Davis before he gets to the safety, and then a whole bunch of other guys right in there.
That ball on the way a long time before Harper ever took a look. 1st and goal with the 4. Darryl Johnston, touchdown. The Cowboys recapture the lead. It is as you said, John. Neither team can stop the other.
No, and that's what Emmitt Smith does too. You know that when they get down here, they're going to give the ball to Emmitt Smith. You know, here's Emmitt Smith. They're not going to give it to Daryl Johnston. He's the front guy. He's a blocker. See, everyone goes out with Emmitt Smith. They all over pursue. Boom, they just hand it to Daryl Johnston, and wow, he's right in the end zone.
Murray's extra point is good. 11 plays, 80 yards. Here they go on the kickoff. Dexter Carter started at about the 2, gets to about the 23.
Yeah, Pat, let's watch Nate Newton. You know, we talk about guys that are on all Madden teams. This guy is every year just for the type of things that he can do like this. Down around the goal line, boom, you just take your guy, drive him. Daryl Johnston just sees big old Nate and gets right in behind his backside.
There are a lot of reasons for Nate to be on the All-Madden team.
I think it's kind of what it's all about. I mean, Nate Newton, a guy who's a free agent, came into this league, was cut by the Washington Redskins, backup player, built himself up to a starter, now a Pro Bowl player. That's what it's all about.
And he can cook.
And he can eat.
Ricky Waters. That's about a gain of 3, stopped by Casillas. George Seifert said the Cowboys have the most intimidating special teams in football.
This is Kenneth Gant coming down the field full speed. This is what it's like in the playoffs. I don't know, that's intensity, that's hitting, that's bodies flying, that's everything. That doesn't look like a guy who's wearing glasses the day before.
Looks so innocent.
Yeah, how can you look like that and play like that?
Here's Steve Young, gets it out to Waters. Waters knocked backwards by Dixon Edwards and swarmed around by the rest of the defense led by Ken Norton. Ricky better go back and get another load of wood.
I know, because he was trying to deliver his wood and Dixon Edwards delivered his wood. I mean, that's the way you want to hit him. I mean, you want to catch him going this way and then knock him back the way they were going before they got to you. And that's what Dixon Edwards did.
Whoa.
And then at the end, after he hit him and knocked him backwards, he goes in and tries to take his head off. Watch him come back there. He's going for his hat right there. Wow!
A loss of 7. It's 3rd and 13. It is intense. Steve Young, pass incomplete, is picked off by Thomas Everett. Dallas gets the turnover. The interception and the ball at the 25. Taylor, the intended receiver.
The last 2 meetings, this is the thing that has killed the 49ers, are the turnovers. But you see, Thomas Everett's number 27. He's right in the middle of the screen. He's just playing free safety. The ball's thrown to John Taylor, just tips out of his hand. Everett's sitting back there. That's what a free safety does. You keep everything in front of you. Any tip is your ball. You go for it.
That's that turnover story you were talking about the last 2 games. The 49ers have turned it over 6 times to Dallas has 1. Here's Emmitt Smith again to about the 20. Merton Hanks came up to make the hit.
If you look, the 49ers can always move the ball against the Cowboys. The last 2 games, they've moved it for over 400 yards a game. But the key thing is you got to get the ball back. And when you do, you can't have the turnovers.
The turnovers, inevitably, they kill you. That's been the story in this game. That's the story in almost every game. 2nd and 6. The handoff is to Smith. To about the 15. In the 3rd down situation, stopped by Larry Roberts.
The way the 49er defense, the way they play when Smith runs is to stay patient. Don't pursue, don't over pursue. And that's what they do, is just everyone kind of stay around the line of scrimmage. And if you just watch, Johnston's out here, there's only one back in the backfield. See how they all just kind of stay patient, just wait on the line, although they're getting knocked off the line, and then make him commit and then go after him.
Third and about a yard. The handoff is to Darrell Johnson, who gets the Dallas first down.
Darrell Johnson, something, he's in the Pro Bowl this year as a fullback. Jokes about it, he didn't even gain 100 yards the whole season as a rusher, but he does all those other things, Pat, that we talk about. He's a guy who catches, he's a guy who blocks, he's a guy that makes Troy Aikman feel very comfortable sitting in the pocket.
And Emmitt Smith, so does this guy, Kevin Gogan.
Big old Gogan, you know, the reason he's out, he's a tight end on short yardage, so after they get the first down, he has to go out for one play before he can come back in as a guard.
He'll be back. Here's Aikman, back to throw it. To Emmitt Smith, he'll walk in. Dallas 20. San Francisco 7.
Well, if you were wondering how Emmitt Smith is, or if they're going to use him today, or if he'll be a factor, I don't think you have to wonder anymore.
Nope. They get the turnover, and they get the points as a result of it. Murray for the extra point. With
That's why
Novacek
Jimmy
holding.
Johnson can guarantee victory.
Yeah.
A play like that.
Murray's extra point is good. It's 21-7. 6:04 left to play in the second quarter. And these are the kind of numbers, once you get inside that 20-yard line, they've had it 3 times. They've gotten touchdowns each time.
And the other thing you like is a good special teams play like they had in Gantz getting ready for, then a turnover. Then after you get the turnover, it's what you do with it. You get 7 points out of it.
High and short, Murray's kickoff handled by Dexter Carter. Cowboys down in a hurry. Carter does well to get it out to about the 23.
Let's watch and see how Emmitt Smith was so open. Here's Emmitt Smith. Here's Jay Novacek. Novacek comes up here. Smith gets right in behind him. Novacek comes out here. All the defense comes out here. And then Smith comes right into the middle, open free. But if we could just bring it down here and kind of stop it now, we'll see that everyone is here on Novacek and no one is here on Smith. That is an easy one.
First down, San Francisco at their own 23. Young back to throw it. Under pressure. To about the 26. Stopped by Casillas.
See, this is where a game changes. Once you get a turnover, you get a couple touchdowns ahead. Now the defense, and this Cowboy defense is not a dominant defense, but now they're playing downhill. The 49ers have to play uphill. The running game, the time of possession, the ball control, those things that don't make as much sense now. The Cowboys are just going to tee off on it.
Second and 7. Rice split out wide to the right. Taylor left. Batted away. Incomplete. Leon Lett got the big hand up and knocked it down.
Yeah, that's why they call Leon Lett Big Cat. If you watch Big Cat, he's going to be hanging on Steve Young as he throws that ball. He makes a head slap. He has a double team. He takes Jesse Sapolo, pushes him into the backfield, and just as Young throws that ball, watch that left hand come up on Young's neck, and he just whaps him to the ground.
And Haley got his hand up and batted the ball away. Lett was close.
That's what made the ball go sideways was Haley. Haley will disrupt more plays than any guy in this game.
Third and 7. Here's Young back to throw it. Incomplete, intended for Rice. Kevin Smith, the defender, but there are a lot of white jerseys around.
Hey, right now, the Cowboys have the 49ers just where they want them. They got them on their heels. They got them going backwards. And the emotion of this game has been taken over by the Cowboys.
Wilmsmeyer back to punt to Kevin Williams. Good kick. Williams retreats to about the 22. Cowboys will take over. Michael Irvin working on Emmitt Smith.
That's what teammates are for, Pat. You just do that in the huddle. They have those timeouts. You got to get the guy warmed up, ready to
Yeah,
go.
stretched out.
Wonder how Michael Irvin knows how to do that. Let's see if it works. See if they hand it to him and see how he runs with that stretch job.
Aikman fakes to him. Over the middle to Emmitt Smith. Stopped by John Johnson, but a pickup of 5 or 6.
You know, George Seifert had a word for the time that Troy Aikman gets. He says he has great separation. In other words, the distance from the line, the defensive line, to the point where he's throwing from, as he said, is probably the biggest separation that any quarterback in the league enjoys. Part of that's Emmitt Smith running, and a big part of it's the offensive line. And the third part is Troy Aikman.
Right. Here's Emmitt Smith. Emmitt nudges ahead to first down yardage. Stopped by Mike Walter and Bill Romanowski. But he got enough to move the sticks. Excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's a good sign when you see Emmitt Smith, who we know has a separated right shoulder, when he's picked up, when someone helps him up and he gives him that right hand and lets him pick him up with that right hand, you have to believe that that right shoulder's okay. Well, I think when they keep the right hand, they give you the left hand, then the right shoulder's bad.
We were told he's not wearing any kind of unusual shoulder pads today. So when Jimmy pronounced him well, Jimmy Johnson, he got well. Blitz coming at Aikman, but what a catch by Harper. Harper right off his shoe tops.
And what a throw by Aikman. We're going to see this one. As you say, this is a great catch. I mean, Harper comes out, he works out, he just takes that ball right off the ground. But Troy Aikman was hit by John Johnson just as he threw that ball, and that's probably what made that thing dip. You talk about a great catch. Boy. He caught that with his fingertips. Watch 55 Johnson hit him. See, that's why he couldn't get everything on the ball. He went to step, and there was Johnson.
Harper, and the catch give him a first down. This is out to Darrell Johnston. Down to the 49er 40. Stopped by Walter. The 49ers have got to get something going defensively here, or this thing's going to be out of their hands.
Now, what they're not doing is they're not doing anything to disrupt the rhythm of the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys and Norv Turner calling the plays, Troy Aikman running, the offensive line blocking. They've gotten into a rhythm, and the 49ers have let them stay in that rhythm. And I think you got to come up with a blitz or something different to knock them out.
Second and short, Emmitt Smith. First down, Cowboys almost at 30. Down to about the 31-yard line, stopped by Dana Hall.
The other thing, if you can't knock them out of their rhythm defensively, then you have to hope they get a penalty or something. But just watch here, you know, we're talking about Williams. Just watch his left hand. I mean, he plays like a boxer. I mean, he just comes up and he just hits those guys with those fists, and they go sideways all the time.
2 minutes left in the first half. 21-7 Dallas, and the Cowboys are on the move. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Texas Stadium, the NFC Championship. Both teams have all their timeouts remaining. Aikman is going to run. Good slide down to about the 22, close to a first. Like he might be a half yard short.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You know, again, here's Eric Williams, so you want to rush him up the field. Now, in doing that, you're going to give a big lane here to run. If we can just look, this is what Troy Aikman sees. You see Eric Williams taking, we can just stop it now. You see, once he has his guy here, the next guy's there. Look at that big running lane that he has. He has to take that, even though he's not a runner.
Need a half yard, and Johnson will get that. Stopped by Stubblefield.
You know, after a good play, you know, we saw Eric Williams make a lot of these big plays. Then during timeouts, they just water themselves down. But you don't keep it all. Watch, this is how you do it. You just squirt it all over you, and then but you don't keep it. Once you get it in there, you just let it come out. Yeah.
And that's a real 2-minute warning there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's a good one because you know sometimes you think you water yourself down, you keep it all in there.
Yeah.
But you don't, because that'll log you down. So you just kind of take it in, and then you just water the rest of the guys down.
Whether they want it or not.
Because when you're a guy like Eric Williams and you weigh about 335 pounds, you don't want to get loggy.
The winner of this game to face the AFC Championship Buffalo Bills. 4th consecutive year for Buffalo.
Congratulations to the Bills, and right now there's just 3 teams. Started out with 28 all going for this. Buffalo Bills know they're in it next week. Of course, the winner of this game will leave tomorrow. If the 49ers win, they're going to leave right from here to go to Atlanta. If the Cowboys win, they'll leave tomorrow to go to Atlanta.
That was a Cowboy timeout, so they have 2 left now. Emmitt Smith behind Aikman. Aikman has Novacek. Novacek has a Dallas touchdown. From 19 yards out, Jay Novacek barreled into the end zone.
Again, that's Jay Novacek, that's Troy Aikman, but I'll tell you, this offensive line of the Cowboys is manhandling that 49er defensive line. Look at the time Troy Aikman has to do that. You see big Nate Newton, he just took his guy and didn't even let him get off the line of scrimmage.
Eddie Murray's extra point makes it 28-7. 58 seconds left to play in the first half. The touchdown again.
And just enjoy this pass protection. I mean, some of them don't even rush. They just stop that middle out there. Troy Aikman is going to have a clean jersey today. And Eric Williams on his side, he just stopped his guy coming at all. Big Nate Newton and Giesick, they took care of Stubblefield. They made him go back the other way. And if you give Aikman time, I mean, he's probably going to kill you anyway.
Right.
But if you give him time, he's going to commit surgery on you.
Which is just what he's done to the 49ers so far. 28-7, Dallas leading. Murray set to kick it off. Will follow Gant down again. Line drive kickoff in the direction of Dexter Carter, who's going to leave it in the end zone. No return. The 49ers have got some work ahead of them. Look at the time of possession and yards so far. They just haven't had the ball.
No, and then when they do get it, the Dallas Cowboy defense has really been going after Steve Young. And I think as this score mounts like this for the Cowboys, I think the pressure is going to mount on Steve Young. Those last 2 games of the regular season, maybe they didn't mean anything, but the Houston Oilers and the Philadelphia Eagles both went after him.
That's Waters in motion and Young back to throw. He's going to have to throw on just about every down from now on. Logan out of the backfield. Outside to about the 28. Stopped by Norton.
Yeah, the other thing, we see no huddle here, but the other thing the Cowboy defense has done is contain Steve Young well because he hasn't been able to run yet either.
Young has to bring it down and tried to run. Tripped up by Jeff Coat. Young calls the timeout. That was a San Francisco timeout. So they have 2 left. Coverage on Rice.
They're doing an excellent job. I mean, Larry Brown has really come up big for the Cowboys in this first half.
3rd down. Logan will get the 49er first down. Wonder what George Seifert's thoughts are about the first half.
Well, you know that you're going to have one more half of football in this season if you don't win. So the thing that you always talk about, you know, there's not a lot of ranting and raving. You got to think about how you can get back in and, one, knock them out of rhythm and get a rhythm for yourself. And you always think when you're behind like this, let's go out and play it like it's nothing. I mean, we can't play like we're way behind and, you know, we have a half to play, but let's start and build a foundation for the second half and do to them in the second half what they did to us in the first half.
Well, they have the weapons to do it, but Jimmy Johnson is not about. to let down in any fashion.
Well, and Troy Aikman is hot. I mean, you talk about a hot player and a hot quarterback. There's no hotter player in the NFL right now than Troy Aikman.
4 wide receivers for the 49ers. Beach and Turner join the regular 2. Good coverage again on Rice. Good pressure by Jimmy Jones on Steve Young.
These corners of the Cowboys have stepped up. You know, we saw Larry Brown on the other side. Here it is, Kevin Smith. You see, he just gives him a bump. He's just step for step, stride for stride, all the way down the field with Jerry Rice. That's who they try and get the big play to. Jimmy Jones makes him throw it at the time he did and maybe take a little off it, but that was still good coverage by Kevin Smith.
2nd and 10 with 19 seconds left in the first half. 3-man rush by Dallas. Steve Young throws out of bounds. Jerry Rice made the reception, goes up under the bench. But he's okay.
Even though that one doesn't go, that was still a heck of a catch.
Yeah. Out of bounds, whatever. It's still a heck of a catch.
But you know, we talk about Larry Brown, and he's really come up big in his first half. You see, he got between Jerry Rice and Steve Young, and the only place that Steve Young could throw that ball, if it weren't going to be an interception, was out of bounds.
Right.
This guy's come up big in this half. I mean, he's played the pass well, and he's also played, remember, a couple of those runs early.
3rd and 10 with 13 seconds left. Young gets on the draw play to Waters, who's caught by Russell Maryland. Maryland hurt his ankle earlier. Not going to play too much, but one effective play. That's the end of the first half with the score. Dallas 28, San Francisco 7. Back at Texas Stadium, ready to start the second half. The Cowboys kick off. Eddie Murray will kick to Dexter Carter. Logan back with him. 28-7. Cowboys leading. It's going to be Logan. He is cut down by Vanderbeek at the 21. Halftime statistics.
Well, you know, we talked about dominance, and the statistics show it. First downs, 19-6. Rushing yards, the Cowboys almost had 100 yards. The 49ers really didn't get started. 177 passing. Then, of course, the 1 turnover that led to a touchdown. So, in every statistic there could be, the Cowboys won it, but with a score 28-7, you would expect that.
And 19 first downs. That's awesome. Here's Steve Young to throw it. Outside to Rice. Knocked out of bounds by Kevin Smith. Picked up about 8. Maybe not quite that much. Steve Young under pressure so far. Been sacked once, hurried 3 times, knocked down 3 times. 1 ball batted down, but that by Haley, and 1 interception.
You know, a guy that's had a lot to do with that is number 78, Big Leon Lett. He has really, in that first half, really gotten a big push in the middle.
2nd and 3. The handoff was to Ricky Waters, who is hit as soon as he takes the handoff by Ken Norton.
And again, if you just watch Lett right here, he just gets penetration. And once he gets back on this side of the line of scrimmage, it's really tough, even though he doesn't make the play. You see how he gets in the backfield right there? That makes the running back cut to the middle. There's no cutback. That makes him go, and you force him right into your linebacker.
3rd and about 2. The handoff is again to Waters, and again he doesn't get it. Jimmy Jones this time.
And again, you know, we talked in the first half about how the 49ers were really dominated by the offensive line, but here they are by the defensive line too. You see, they're playing on the 49ers side of the ball. You see Haley getting penetration up on top. Leon Lett, 78, getting penetration. Jimmy Jones getting in there to make the play, but it started with the right penetration of Lett and the left penetration of Charles Haley.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer back to punt. Williams back deep for Dallas. Stay away from it. And Will Myers' punt goes out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, where Dallas will take over 1st and 10. The defense has done its job. Now let's see if the edge is still there on offense. There's big Leon Lett.
I tell you, and he is a big guy and a heck of a player. You know, it's too bad he's remembered a lot for that play in the Super Bowl and the play on Thanksgiving.
Kicking team, penalties declined, 1st down.
49ers had too many people downfield on the punt. How do you like to run down under a kick like this?
Well, you know, the guy that can leave is that end man on the line of scrimmage. So what they do is they double team him. They play him inside, outside, and you get a guy like Gann on him. They don't let him play at all. They just, that's like playing with 10 guys.
Just take him right out of it.
Yeah, you ain't going nowhere.
Cowboys now go with 2 tight ends. Novacek and Galbraith. Aikman to Emmitt Smith, hit by Stubblefield behind the line. First half for Aikman.
Well, you know, the thing that they do is they move the ball around so well, and most of the passing game is under 15 yards. In fact, you see that he threw a lot to the right, but he only threw 1 ball that was to the right over 15 yards. So everything is in that, you know, that underneath, that under 15 area, left, middle, and again, primarily to the right.
2nd and 14, passing down, coming up for Aikman again. Under the rush by Stubblefield, another rush, and now down he goes. Stubblefield was there first.
And see, the 49ers on defense this time, Pat, are starting to do the things we talked about. They're starting to disrupt that thing. Take away the rhythm. Get someone in the backfield. Here's Stubblefield right here. And you'll see he gets penetration. Boom, he takes an inside move. He's right up the middle. Now Aikman can't do those rhythm things. He can't read. He can't step up. He can't do anything if you can break through. Break someone through somehow.
An assist from Artie Smith. But Stubblefield furnished the initial pressure. 3rd and long. Draw play to Emmitt Smith. Not much there. Stubblefield again involved on the tackle.
I don't know what Stubblefield took at halftime or what they told Stubblefield at halftime, but he came out and he made 3 plays in a row here. He got through there on the pass rush just before that. They tried to run a draw right at him, thinking he would run by it. He didn't run by anything.
They were saying to us, the 49ers were yesterday, that he has approached his rookie year in a more mature fashion than any rookie they've ever seen. Studying, learning new techniques. Jet back to punt it.
George Siebert said he does everything like a professional.
Jet's kick is good. It's going to be handled by Dexter Carter. 3rd quarter, Dallas 28-7 over San Francisco. Pat Summerall with John Madden. We appreciate it. Rice comes wide left. The 49ers have to make something happen. And soon. Young goes back to throw, going deep for Rice, and he's got it. Lost it. Brown closed fast. Rice had the ball and dropped it.
You know, I think if there's been one underrated player on this Dallas Cowboy team, and they have a lot of players, but it's been this guy, Larry Brown. I mean, all year he's been a solid guy. Maybe a lapse here and there, but I think that of all the guys you talk about who plays well, who helps him win, Larry Brown has been quietly effective.
That was perfect timing.
And
Rice had the ball and Brown just knocked it away.
Right, and Larry Brown is saving his best for the championship game. This is the best he's looked.
Steve Wallace is number 74, limping to the side now. Harry Boatswain has taken his place already. Steve Wallace made it over to the sideline as we're ready to go 2nd and 10. Boatswain has taken his place. Rice is flanked left. Outside Haley, intended for Rice, incomplete. He felt them coming.
Yep, and he tried to get outside the pass rush. You know, you put in Boatswain, and then you know you're going to get a big pass rush by Charles Haley, so they put a rollout outside of him. You know, Jerry Rice has only caught 3 passes today for 32 yards, and he hasn't made any yards after the catch. You know, I mean, if you look at that, that's his big thing is right here, this yards after the catch, and he hasn't done any today. That's good tackling, too.
3rd and 10. To Waters. He struggles to get out of bounds at about the 46. Not enough for a first down, and the 49ers will have to punt. By the way, when Dallas gets the ball, Troy Aikman took a shot to the head a moment ago on that last series. We might see Bernie Kosar at quarterback. He's loosening for a series till they can check and see how Aikman is. Klaus Wilmsmeyer back to punt. This is a dandy. Williams, fair catch at the 10, backs up to the 9. Troy Aikman took a knee to the head, and Bernie Kosar is the Dallas quarterback.
You see, it's right here. It's Dennis Brown coming in. You see the knee right there. Knee right on his helmet. I always remember the 3rd down play. Dana Stubblefield broke through, flushed Troy Aikman out. He ran up, and Dennis Smith was coming in, and he just took the knee to the head.
And Bernie Kosar, who the Cowboys got in the middle of the season, takes Aikman's place. Aikman was just outstanding while he was there. He might be back. They haven't ruled that out yet. 1st and 10. From the 49ers, word that Steve Wallace has a sprained right knee. We're not sure about his return to the contest.
You know, if you watch, you know, you always talk about 8-man front, but watch Tim McDonald here, Pat. What they do to get the 8th man up, they bring a safety up. And you see him come up there. They know that Kosar's in. They have him backed up. They know that they're going to run, so they want to gang up on the run, and that's the way you gang up on it, with your strong safety to make 8 men up.
2nd and 8. Bernie Kosar is the Dallas quarterback. Back to throw it. Kosar under pressure. Tries to scramble. That is not his strong point.
Oh, and the 49ers know that, and even though Troy Aikman is not a big scrambler, Troy Aikman did have a couple of big runs in that first half. Kind of calmed him down a little. Now with Bernie Kosar, they know that he can't move at all, so he's going to be a sitting target, and they're just going to rush that point.
3rd and 8. Aikman just called the trainer over a moment ago and said, I need your help. I'm dizzy.
Yeah,
whether he'll be back or not, I don't know.
He took the oxygen, and then he went away from the oxygen and said he thought he was okay. You see him with smelling salts there. And he's still recovering from that Dennis Brown knee to the helmet.
3rd and 8. Kosar back to throw it. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Kevin Williams. Flag on the play.
I'll tell you, Eric Williams again just finished off a pass rush. At the end of that play, some guy just came flying off of Eric Williams.
That happens quite often.
But the body just went, I mean, a red-shirted body just went boom in the air off Eric Williams.
Jerry Markbright.
Maybe one of the officials saw that and thought that was a penalty of some sort.
There was a flag down.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit after the incompletion on number 79 offense. Half the distance to the goal and the down counts. A continuing action foul. 4th down.
That's what I saw, Pat. That was Eric Williams, and there was a body flying off of him, and they said it was late.
It's a personal foul, so they'll move it backward. And John Jett standing back close to the end zone. Now Emmitt Smith went off on the previous play, holding his arm.
Yeah, it happened on that blocking play. You know, he hurt his shoulder again last week on a blocking play, and I think he hurt it there on a blocking play.
Jett takes a snap back on the end line. Good kick. But Dexter Carter will field it in good shape. Across the 50. One good block. And Carter gets down to about the 43. knocked out of bounds by Woodson. Carter and Woodson don't have too many compliments for each other.
Darren Woodson is one of those guys who was a linebacker in college, and he's playing safety now and a special teams guy, but he kept that linebacker mentality with him, Pat. And this guy is all over the field. I mean, look, he's 6'1", 215 pounds, and kind of too small to be a linebacker. But I'll tell you, he is one big, hard-hitting, aggressive safety.
1st and 10, San Francisco at the Dallas 44. Again, a situation where they have to make something happen. Outside to Brent Jones. 1st down, San Francisco. Report from the Dallas Cowboys bench is that Emmitt Smith says he's okay. Just numbed it a bit.
Well, again, I think that was going to be the thing. Not could he start the game, not could he play, but how long he could play. And you see Troy Aikman is still trying to get that smelling salts to work. And usually when you can smell that long on it and it doesn't make your head jerk back, it's not working.
That was the first catch, by the way, by Brent Jones. 1st down, San Francisco at the 31. Young to throw it again. Gets it out to Ricky Waters. Waters got one block. Gets across the 25-24. Leon Lett finally made the stop.
Ricky Waters needs some of that emotion that he had last week against the Giants. You're not going to have that kind of game where you score 5 touchdowns in playoffs, but he's not as pumped up now. I mean, I think that you need emotion not only when you're ahead by 20 points, but sometimes when you're behind by 21 points is when you really need it. I mean, if you're going to pump yourself up and all your other guys up, now is when you need it.
Steve Wallace back at the left offensive tackle for the 49ers. Cowboys show a blitz. This is Waters. Waters breaks one tackle. 1st down, 49ers at about the 17. Dixon Edwards knocked him out of bounds.
And Dixon Edwards was the guy who blitzed. And he really hustled on that play. He started to blitz on the left side. You'll see Dixon Edwards right there. He's going to start up here. And then he misses a tackle right there. And then he just turns and changes and runs all the way. Now watch 58. He's going to be the guy coming in there that eventually makes it.
First down, 49ers. Young to Brent Jones. Out of bounds at about the 11-yard line by Woodson. That's just what you were talking about that guy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they call him a safety, but when he hits you like a linebacker. See what he did to Brent Jones. That was a bootleg and a crossing pattern to Jones. Woodson was on him. He just put him up and threw him down.
Slung him out of bounds. 2nd and 4. They got 6 yards. Clock running, 6:35 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Dallas still leads 28-7. Waters. That's the 1st down inside the 5. Stopped by Darren Smith. Waters got down to about the 2 or 3.
And now he's starting to show that life. And that's what, you know, the Cowboys don't want to let that happen, but the 49ers need it. I mean, this is what the 49ers need now. They need Ricky Waters to get that emotion so that, you know, that everyone plays off that, get that running game going. Then you can get the ball out to Rice and Taylor and get into a rhythm yourself like the Cowboys have been.
1st and goal at the 4. Waters again. Touchdown, San Francisco. They had to make something happen, and they did.
Well, they needed emotion, they needed a lift, they needed some life. He was the guy that gave them to it last week in a big way, and he gave it to him on this drive.
George Seifert has to be feeling a little bit better. Ricky Waters gets into the end zone. There's Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, with the headset on.
Last week against the Giants, Mike Shanahan, I think, called it close to a perfect game. This week, until now, they haven't gotten any rhythm against this Cowboy defense.
Kofor for the extra point. 28-14. The Cowboys led 28-7 at the halftime. Aikman is headed for the locker room. So we'll see Bernie Kosar again at quarterback. Kevin Williams to return it. He is hit hard. by the 49ers, Larry Kelm. Here comes Troy Aikman into the tunnel and back to the locker room.
You know, I think any time you get any player injured that has anything to do with the head or neck, you want to take every precaution. And you know, I like to see this. I mean, I don't like to see a player out, but I like to see when a player has any kind of head or neck injury, I like to see every precaution taken, and that's what the Cowboys are doing right now with Troy Aikman.
And Bernie Kosar. And the Cowboys have it 1st and 10 at their own 17. Emmitt Smith behind Kosar, and Kosar will throw it out to Smith. Smith did not quite make it to the 20. Stopped by Mike Walter.
You know, one thing about Bernie Kosar, he's a very bright quarterback, and sometimes in a backup quarterback, you want an experienced guy who doesn't have to have a lot of reps in practice. We just happened to be talking about that the other day, and Jimmy Johnson was saying that Troy Aikman takes about 90 to 95% of the offensive plays. So Bernie Kosar has to get himself ready, practicing the other team's plays, and just with his mind, but he has an excellent mind.
Kosar straight back, under pressure for Emmitt Smith. Incomplete. 3rd and long. It's not the same offensive unit without Aikman. They just don't look the same.
And I think you can see what they're doing is they're starting to bring the linebackers. You're going to see number 53, Romanowski. You see him coming up on top. He's just an outside linebacker, and no one blocks him at all. But I think that's what the 49ers know now. They don't have to worry about movement. They don't have to worry about passing as effectively, so they can just go after the quarterback.
3rd and 9. 4:55 left to play in the 3rd quarter. 28-14 Dallas. Blitz again by the 49ers. Kosar gets it out to Michael Irvin, who makes a typical Irvin catch in the 1st down Dallas.
Because the 49ers started to get a little greedy there on defense, Pat. That time they were not only bringing the linebacker Romanowski, but they're also bringing, you see Tim McDonald, number 46, a strong safety, and Bernie was able to move away. He was getting pressure from his right. He moved just a little to his left and got the ball out to Michael Irvin. See Irvin running up here. He's running an out pattern and a little comeback, and Bernie makes a heck of a throw.
Don Griffin, the defender. Darrell Johnson, a great pickup on that blitz. Kosar will throw it again. Has some time this time. And has Novacek at midfield. And into 49er territory, stopped by Merton Hanks.
I don't know, they paid Bernie Kosar $1 million or something for half a season, but on those last 2 plays, he's starting to earn it.
Yeah.
Because they were going to gang up in that pass. They were going to blitz him. He beat the blitz, and then he comes back and hits Jay Novacek. Watch him. Now they calm the pass protection down a little. He has some of the time. He can look. He can wait a little and find Jay Novacek out there.
And another Cowboy 1st down at the 49er 49. Emmitt Smith behind Kosar. But Bernie's going to throw it again. Gets away from the rush, throws incomplete. In the direction of Darrell Johnson. Right now, let's send you to Leslie Visser.
Pat, it's been a rough year for Troy Aikman. Remember, he hurt his back, then his ribs. He pulled a hamstring, now his head. He did walk up to the locker room under his own power, but he is sitting down in there. Dr. Robert Vandermeer, the Cowboy doctor, said he will not return to the field until his head is clear. Pat?
Thank you, Leslie. As John Madden said just a minute ago, anytime it involves a neck or a head, you just have to be sure.
You know, he's had one more thing. He's had a shoulder separation himself in addition to all those other injuries Leslie just talked about.
That nobody really knew about. Kosar gives to Emmitt Smith. Emmitt to about the 43.
You know, an interesting thing about Bernie Kosar, a couple games ago, I saw Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator, and he had this list of plays that he was looking at before he went into the game. And I said, what's that list? And he said, that's Bernie's list. And I said, what do you mean, Bernie's list? And he says, well, before the game, Bernie gives me a list of the plays that he thinks are the best plays against that defense. So I'll bet you Norv has Bernie's list right now, and I bet you those are the plays he's calling.
They're working right now, 3rd and 4.
It's a good-looking list.
Everybody got back. No flags. Kozar quickly to Harper. Harper's gone. '49ers blitzed again.
Yep, and again, Eric Davis went for the interception. He tried to jump in front of Harper. It was just like the championship game a year ago. Eric Davis tried to jump in front of it. Harper made the catch. And again, a heck of a throw by Bernie Kosar. About 3 or 4 heck of a throws on this drive by Bernie Kosar.
Again.
He's looking at Harper all the way. Eric Davis tried to jump it. That wasn't a great effort by Eric Davis. Merton Hanks, he overruns it, takes a bad angle, and Alvin Harper gets a touchdown.
I believe that's Dana Hall who's down, the injured 49er.
You know, the big play, the 49ers were trying to blitz him, especially when they had him backed up. When Bernie hit that play against the blitz to Michael Irvin, I think that got it back. And there's the football that Harper just scored with. Put it in your pocket. Don't hold it up.
Cowboys in command. That's Dana Hall over on the sideline. Okay, he just got the wind knocked out of him. And that's what you do with the ball. If it's a championship game, you take it home.
I said you got to hide that thing. You don't want to hold it up. Someone will come and grab it out of your hand.
Murray's extra point is good. It's 35-14. Dallas over San Francisco. It was a year ago at Candlestick.
And what you're going to see that same thing. You're going to see that slant, and you're going to see Eric Davis go for the interception. You're going to see Dana Hall take a bad angle, and you're going to see a long run by Alvin Harper.
And this is today.
Now watch him try and jump that thing. See, it's not bad if he jumped it had Merton Hanks stayed behind it, but they both tried to jump in front of it. And the bad news there, if you get it over your head, then there's nothing between the receiver and the goal line. And that's how the ball gets in the end zone and then gets in the stands and then gets in some guy's jacket.
And will be on somebody's shelf at some later point. Bernie Kosar
just earned his dough.
Looked a little shaky first couple of downs, but 3 good throws got him a touchdown.
The 49ers tried to blitz him. They tried to go after him. And then when he completed that pass in the blitz, that was the end of it.
Dallas to kick off. Murray to Dexter Carter back deep. Dexter Carter at the 5. To the 20, maybe the 21, where San Francisco has to go to work and go to work in a hurry. 2:15 left in the third quarter. 35-14 Cowboys.
Well, you know, the 49ers have a lot of big play guys. I mean, they got Jerry Rice, they got John Taylor, they got Ricky Waters. They have to put them to use now. They have to get big plays. Great players make big plays in big games.
Rice and Taylor have been rather quiet. First and 10 for the 49ers from their own 22. Steve Wallace back at left tackle. Blocking on Haley. Young, Taylor. Knocked out of bounds by Kevin Smith.
I know when I talked to Mike Shanahan yesterday, he was talking about doing more of this, that, you know, these corners play off. You see out at the top of the screen how the corners play off, and he thought that they could do this type of thing, run ins and outs and comebacks all day on those corners, and maybe they can, but they haven't done it yet, and maybe they just haven't gotten in any rhythm yet.
And they're going to have to do it soon. Less than 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Waters and Rathman, the two backs. Young, Rice picks up a San Francisco first down at the Dallas 42.
The one thing that Jerry Rice can do so well is catch the ball, and after he catches it, make people miss. But he's not doing that today. You see, he gets bumped, and then he bumps back. You see, he gets that little push before he makes that in route. But usually he breaks tackles there. But with this defense of the Cowboys is really tackling well against his receivers.
And there were 3 of them there on that last stop. Young to Rathman. Rathman close to the 35 of Dallas. Dixon Edwards made the stop. A minute left to play in the third quarter.
And I think there has to be a point here where the 49er offense, where urgency has to take over. I think they have to speed up their play. They know they can move the ball, but they're going to have to speed up play now.
45 seconds left in the third quarter, now less than that. Second down, about 4. Young. Sacked from behind, didn't see him coming. It was Tony Tolbert.
You got Haley on that side. Tolbert will make a big play if you have to hold the ball. I think that when you just had to hold the ball a little too long, you watch Tolbert here. Now, if you're going to have to hold the ball, you see Young look and wait and wait. Tolbert is eventually going to get there from the backside. That was a sack by Tolbert, but it was good coverage.
3rd and 11. 1 out of 7 on 3rd and long. For San Francisco, Young calls a timeout. Flag went down over on the side of the field. Steve Young called a
timeout, San Francisco.
I think Steve Wallace was arguing that he didn't jump.
8 seconds left in the third quarter. Dallas 35-14.
What he's upset about is that Steve Young pulled out and then called timeout. Now watch Steve Young. Wallace moves a little. Steve Young just turns and calls timeout. And I don't know what would be wrong with that, but it sure did upset Jimmy Johnson. No, because they took the timeout. The 49ers took the timeout, and they were charged for the timeout.
The official over on our sideline behind the 49ers, or in front of the 49ers, behind the 49er bench, threw a flag. Brock Marion with his knee bandage, heading toward the locker room. 3rd and 11, 8 seconds left, third quarter. Odessa Turner was the man in motion. Screen pass to Ricky Waters. Waters knocked out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. That's a first down. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Hold it. Flag on the play.
Jimmy Johnson's still upset about that timeout.
Illegal hands to the face, number 64, offense. 10-yard penalty, third down.
All on Ralph Tam. Still third down. So it's not the end of the third quarter. One more play. Maybe.
That's the end of the quarter.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score, Dallas 35, San Francisco 14. Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Pat Summerall with John Madden. 35-14. Dallas leading San Francisco. Big second quarter for the Cowboys. One of those after a turnover.
Yeah, that first half by the Cowboys was almost perfect. They were in a rhythm offensively. Both lines were dominating, and that was a big part of this game.
3rd and very long. Young back to throw. He is down again. Fumbled forward. Waters picked it up. San Francisco ball, but it's still 4th down and long.
I remember one time that we made that play famous. We're playing the San Diego Chargers, and Kenny Stabler fumbled the ball. We had no timeouts. Pete Banaszak tried to pick it up. He fumbled it. It went into the end zone, and Dave Casper jumped on it. That's one way to gain a lot of yardage is on a fumble.
4th down. That wasn't planned or anything, was it?
No.
Here's Young to throw. Maybe. Steve Young is tackled from behind by Jeffcoat, and the Cowboys take over. He just stayed with it, stayed after him.
Jim Jeffcoat didn't run like an 11-year veterinaire. He ran like a sprinter.
Troy Aikman was knocked out of the game. Hasn't returned. Bernie Kosar is the Cowboy quarterback. Harper 4 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. And let's see that last rush on Steve Young.
Well, you're going to see up on top Jim Jeffcoat. See him just throw Steve Wallace to the ground, and then watch him take off here. See, Steve Young is trying to run, and Jim Jeffcoat catches him behind with a little burst to turn on the burners.
Bernie Kosar, the Dallas quarterback. That familiar stance of his with 1 foot way behind the other. This is Emmitt Smith. Smith for about 7. Emmitt Smith has been effective.
And I think if you look by quarter, you see that he rushed for 24 and caught for 50 in the first quarter, then 36 and 34. So most of his work was in that first half, but that's when the Cowboys got their big lead, too.
That was that dominating first half. They led 28-7.
And that shows how important Emmitt Smith is to this team. I think that it's him, and because of him, that a lot of other things work.
2nd and 3. Dahlberg was the man in motion, but the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. First down, Cowboys. Across midfield. Bernie Kosar is the Dallas quarterback because Troy Aikman was kicked in the head earlier. Was woozy on the sideline. They took him to the locker room. He's still there. And Kosar has taken over. Thrown the touchdown pass to Harper.
And I think you like that. You know, I mean, to have a veteran quarterback that is a bright guy that has been in big games, I think Bernie Kosar is probably the perfect guy for this situation.
Darrell Johnston hit after he got a couple. Dennis Brown. Excuse me, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, they say that Troy Aikman is still dazed in the locker room, and they're probably not even going to let him come back out on the field. I think that these guys, as defensive linemen, you see Charles Haley there, number 94, big Leon Lett next to him. We talk about the offensive line dominating. These guys dominated the 49ers, especially in that first half.
Bernie Kosar puts Darrell Johnston in motion and goes back to throw it. Johnston close to a first down. Wrestled out of bounds by Don Griffin.
Let's watch big Nate Newton here, Pat. Sometimes, you know, this is where it all starts. You can have the quarterbacks and stuff, but you have to have these guys. You have to have these big guys that just take their load and put it against your load. Just lay on there, get that hand in there. You see Nate working him. He's working the hands, he's working the feet, and then just boom, he just gives him a little push to the thing. You know, now this guy's not a fat guy. I mean, look at this. This isn't, you know, a bad body. I mean, that's about, he weighs about 350 there, but look at him. I mean, he doesn't look bad.
And you're telling me he's not fat?
No, I think he looks good. I think he's just a massive man.
Kosar incomplete in the direction of Harper. Let's go back and have another look now.
Well, we could show you pictures of the guy in their uniform or in their shorts. But look, I mean, he really is. I mean, he has big legs, big muscles, big arms, big chest, and you know, and you always think he's just a big old fat guy, but he can really move. I mean, he really is.
He can move. You're right.
Look at these guys. I mean, they're here, they're laughing at him and everything.
But you got to give me, he could weigh less, and it would be okay.
What, way less than he does now?
Yeah.
No, yeah. If you're Nate, you have to have some combinations hanging up there.
He's got him.
But that's what gives you the bulk to knock guys back.
That's Emmitt Smith. To about the 35. Stopped by Merton Hanks.
Look Look at Nate. He'll do a little coaching. He's working there with John Giesich, you know, with Stepnoski out, Mark Stepnoski, their center. You have to, you know, work with a different center, and that's been different for those guards.
Two good-sized guys on the right side of that offensive line, too. Gogan and Eric Williams.
Yeah, they're both like 6'6", 6'7". Gogan's 6'7", 330 pounds. I mean, that's a load. That's a load the whole thing. I mean, that's just the right side. That's a big old load.
3rd and 6. Kozar, timeout. He wasn't quite sure. Dallas ball, 3rd and 6. Kozar to Emmitt Smith. Eddie Murray from 50 yards away. Novacek holding. Gonna get there. Murray is good. And the Cowboys lead 38-14. 38-14 Cowboys. The winner to play Buffalo. And the Dallas kickoff coverage team, they have strange ways of preparing to run down under the kickoff.
Well, you know what he did? He was ready to turn and run, and then the ball fell off the tee, so then he had some more time to dance.
Murray's kick sails to Logan at about the 5. Logan to the 25. Stopped by Dave Thomas. Flag on the play. Going to be against the 49ers.
Holding number 50 on the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
There's a holding, Pat, right there in the middle. Chris Dahlman.
Right. Takes them all the way back to the 6-yard line. Here comes Steve Young back into the contest. Remember, he limped off last time, but he's back. Russell, Maryland, Casillas, Tolbert, and Haley, the rush unit. Young to Brent Jones. Wrapped up by Ken Norton after he gets out to about the 12. Now the 49ers going with no huddle.
Yeah, I think 38-14. I would doubt if they get in a huddle the rest of this game, because if urgency hasn't set in yet, it has to be in by now.
Ball batted away at the line of scrimmage as Young tried to throw to his left. Second one he's had batted down.
I think this Dallas Cowboy offense gets plenty of credit, and the job that this defense is doing today really hasn't gotten the credit, because the 49ers are a rhythm offense. Steve Young is a rhythm quarterback. Jerry Rice, the John Taylor, the Brent Jones, and the defense has just kept them off stride all day.
Russell Maryland was the man who knocked that ball down. Young to throw it to Waters. Enough for a first down. And Young again, no huddle, just yelling instructions to his receivers.
In the other area, this Cowboys secondary has played very well, not only in coverage, but in tackling in the open field.
Young to throw. Going deep for Taylor, overthrown. Taylor wrapped up by Kevin Smith. Just couldn't break it. They haven't been able to break anything. That's one thing they wanted to do, or thought they could do, had to do, was go to those wide receivers.
I think, and they probably had that in mind. I think early the defensive line threw them off, and then I think after that, I think the coverage has taken care of that. Then the Cowboys got ahead, and the 49ers just couldn't do anything.
2nd and 10. Young under pressure from Haley. Tried to find Ricky Waters, almost intercepted by Woodson. Larry Brown was also there. Haley with a good rush.
And the Cowboys are just having fun now. Here's Charles Haley here. The Cowboys are just having fun on defense now. He fakes to the inside and he goes to the outside. He really has Steve Wallace back and off balance. Wallace is beaten up, but I'll tell you, Charles Haley has given him a lot of trouble today.
He really has. Here's that defense that you're talking about and the job they've done.
Well, you look, they've only allowed 14 points, 3 quarterbacks. They had a turnover force, 13 first downs allowed. I mean, they've done about as good as shutting out a team like the 49ers as you can do.
2 balls batted down. Steve Wallace, as you pointed out, was beaten up earlier. Here is a look at the defense. That's the group that starts. Haley, Lett, Casillas, and Tolbert, but Maryland has contributed. Jimmy Jones has contributed.
I think early it was Charles Haley. It started right here with this guy, and then I think Leon Lett in that first half was doing a lot, and then the other guys kind of fed off of that.
Haley, of course, for years with the 49ers. Traded here last year. Here's Young back to throw on 3rd down. To Taylor, to Odessa Turner, beg your pardon. And again, no huddle. Steve Wallace.
Hey, Steve Wallace is a real warrior, though. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's a good tackle. He's a Pro Bowl type player.
Young fumbled the snap from center. Drops on it at about the 25. And again, the Cowboys send in fresh troops to rush. Steve Young with no huddle.
Yeah, that's the thing that they can do. I mean, that snap, he just didn't get that snap. Evans just kicked around, and those are things that happen in the 4th quarter when you're down 38-14.
2nd and 17, Maryland. Jeffcoat was close by.
Yeah, I saw Russell Maryland the other day in practice, and he was in fact, we were in there and we were eating some tamales. And he was saying, he said, I'm starting to feel pretty good. And then the more tamales we'd eat, he said, I'm going to be okay. And then about the 3rd or 4th tamale, he says, I think I can have a big game on Sunday.
So if you have a bad ankle?
Yeah, eat tamales. Casillas brought them in. All the guys, all the line were around there eating tamales.
And they were good.
I know, I was in there eating them with them.
Here's Young to throw it. Now he's chased out of the pocket again and comes out. Down after he gets far enough to get back to the 1st down marker. Not enough for the 1st down, but a flag on the play. Late hit.
I think that's what they're going to say, but again, if he goes head first. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 24. Late hit on the quarterback. 15 yards, automatic 1st down.
See, once he runs and he goes head first, you can still hit him. But I don't know. I mean, there they must have just called him hitting to the head or something, because if he gives up and slides and goes feet first, then you can't touch him.
When he's head first.
Yeah, when he's running, he's just like a running back there.
7:20 left to play. Flag on the play. Young is down by Haley. But a penalty marker on the play.
They've knocked Steve Young every way but loose. He has his jersey out, his undershirt hanging out.
But he won't comb his hair.
No, he won't. They've just knocked him about every way but sideways. And he's feeling it now, too.
Charles Haley said to us the other day, maybe we don't get him.
A false start prior to the play.
Before he
on
throws
number
it.
61, offense. No play. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
I'd hate to tell Steve Young right now there was no play.
That's Jesse Sapula who moved, but it was Charles Haley who had a heck of a move. And look what Steve Young has gone through today. 4 sacks, 5 hurries, been knocked down 7 times, 2 batted balls and 1 interception.
1st and 15. Young gets to water. Let somebody else get hit for a while, and he does. Leon Lett, the first man there.
It's starting to sink in over there in that 49er sideline. Again, another championship, but probably not a Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is going to be the same two teams that were in the Super Bowl a year ago.
Buffalo has already won. A rematch. Here's Young. And incomplete. Intended for Jerry Rice. Nothing there.
I'll tell you, he's been beaten up every way you can be beaten up, and he's throwing knuckleballs now. I mean, he's a competitor, and he's as tough a guy as there is, but I don't know that you can play and perform under the pressure that he's been under, and then maybe the biggest pressure is being down 38-14.
Yep. That's a big obligation. Big Nate Newton looking on.
But when you take a beating, this happens to your throws. Look at that thing. I mean, it came out of there sideways.
That looked like a kickoff. 3rd and 12. Young gets it up to Logan. He is taken down immediately by Bill Bates.
You know, this crowd is really into this game, Pat. I mean, this is really a championship atmosphere. You look, and they got the crowd, and they're excited. No one's going home. They know their team's going to the Super Bowl if they win this one. They got bunting all over. Look, they got the all-Madden crowd. What the heck? You can't beat this.
Nope.
But you can't beat bunting either. I mean, finally, the National Football League, for their big games, they finally brought out the bunting. And it looks like a championship game. There's the bunting.
Now, the bunting, as I understand it, will go from here, because that belongs to the league, will go from here to Atlanta.
Oh, right, yeah, you use the same bunting, but baseball always had good bunting. I mean, they had it for opening day and for World Series and playoffs, and
All-Star
football
game.
never had good bunting.
Right.
But now, the NFL's getting some good bunting. Well,
CBS means, that doesn't mean come back soon.
you know, 13 seasons, 226 games.
58 Cowboy games.
58 Cowboy games.
Well, that's just a pretty good indication of how good they've been over the years.
You know, and you think of all those great games that we've had, not only with the Cowboys, but the Giants, the Redskins.
Look out for the Moose.
Yep, the Chicago Bears turned the Moose loose.
Turned Charles Haley loose today. Emmitt Smith's got his shoulder pads off.
And he has that right shoulder taped, too. Did you see that?
Yep. 4th down. Young gets it out to John Taylor. That'll quiet down this crowd for just a moment. Well, the sign got thank you.
Yeah, you wonder how they think about these things. I mean, when do they do this? I mean, how does someone decide I'm going to make a sign and put a slide and pull it out? And do they do that on Saturday nights?
He either got up early or stayed up late. I don't know which.
I think he stayed up late.
Young to throw it. Outside to Rice. Rice will get it down to about the 13. Darren Woodson made the stop.
You know, the 49ers did the same thing the last time here when the Cowboys beat them. Is they went to Rice and Taylor, but they went to him too late.
There was a flag on that last play. Mark Bright and his crew have done an outstanding job this afternoon. Steve Young into the conference. Today's game was produced by Bob Stinner. And you know you're in good hands when Bob's producing. Directed by Sandy Grossman. Thank you, Sandy. Coordinating producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. Directed by Larry Cavallina. The opening tease was produced by Michael Frank. Associate directors Rich Nelson, Jim Rickoff, Ben DeVito, Steve Milton, Marcy Kempner, David Blatt, Joan Pappin, and Andy Goldberg. First down, Young to throw. Outside Waters. Inside the 10 and out of bounds. To continue, the broadcast associates Jim Cornell, Mike Roy, Chris Vinson, Brian Lilly, the Technical supervisors Bill Nader Sr. and Jim Ripple. Technical directors Steve Gorsuch and Jeff Ringel. The audio supervisors Bob Siderman and Jim Budka. John and I both say sincere thanks. Flag on the play. They'll stop this one before it gets any further.
Number 94, defense. Prior to the snap, 5-yard penalty, first down. Second down.
Richie Zients and Artie Kempner have helped us today immeasurably. George Rothweiler, thank you. And Red Eye was back.
Would that be Chuck Milton
That
the
would
third?
be Charles H. Milton III. And you know things are under control when Red Eye is around.
Yep. And things were under control. And if you're going to be a fan, you got to get started young and watch that first half and enjoy it, and fall asleep in the second half like that kid did.
That's Rathman down to about the half-yard line. Not quite a San Francisco touchdown. 4.5 minutes left to play. 38-14 Dallas. Can't beat Davy Finch. He gets all the good shots. But he's always there. Second and goal at the 1. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Well, they had to have a quarterback sneak that back because they didn't have anyone left in the backfield. If you look, they start here. Here goes their last guy in motion. When he gets out there, there's no one to hand it to. So boom, he just better take it himself. Steve Young does. One of the few quarterbacks in the league that kind of likes to lead with his head.
He gets him into the end zone. 4 minutes, 6 seconds left to play. And Dallas leading now 38-20. Kofor will try the extra point with Steve Bono holding. (38-21).
Yeah, this is a tough thing for Steve Young. I mean, he's been the league MVP. He's done everything for this team, and living in the shadow of Joe Montana was tough when he was his backup. And then Joe Montana leaves, and it's still kind of there. It's kind of the ghost of Joe Montana.
It's a long shadow.
And they know, and he knows that until he leads them to and wins the Super Bowl, he's never going to be put on that same plateau. And that's a tough thing for him to live with. And he's a good guy, and he's an intense guy, and he's a great competitor, and he gives it everything he has, but that's a tough thing to have to live with.
Well, the Cowboy defensive unit just took it away from him today.
They did, and it started with that offensive line and that defensive line. Jimmy Johnson said during the week or the other day that we're going to kick their butts and we're going to do it in the fourth quarter. Well, he started a little earlier than the fourth quarter.
They did it in the first half.
And and this guy makes it all possible. I mean, if there's an MVP, it's that guy right there.
That is Troy Aikman, who was just departing in the ambulance or medical vehicle.
Well, we sure wish him the best.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about great competitors and players and guys that have everything going. Troy Aikman's the guy. We got a little onside kick action going here.
A fake onside kick. Kofor stopped. Now they shift to the left side. Now he'll kick it over in that direction and hope. Novacek is in the right place at the right time. There's Troy Aikman.
Yeah, he's in an ambulance there, and they're.
What's he got? A number on the side of his head? On his hat?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. It's just the tags of the hat. He already has the Super Bowl hat. You know, that'll be in the post-game ceremony. They're going to have those hats on, but I'm sure, again, it's a precaution. You take them off the field, and you take them in the locker room, then you take them to the hospital. And here's the play. Again, we're going to see Dana Stubblefield come up. Dennis Brown is going to be coming at him right there, and he's going to get a knee in the head. You see him, he's going to duck his head right there. See Dennis Brown's right knee hits him right on the left side of the head.
And Aikman left at that point, and Bernie Kosar came in at quarterback. As John said, we only wish him good things.
I think that the Cowboys and their people are doing the proper things. That you don't mess with that. You get them off the field, and then if you don't feel comfortable there, then you take them to the hospital. You just have every check that you can on just anyone anytime something happens to their head.
Clock is running. 3:25 left to play in the fourth quarter. Kosar just kneels.
You know, and then talking about big plays, Pat, I think Bernie Kosar coming in, and the 49ers still could have been in the game, and they had him backed up, and they were going to blitz him and rush him, and he got away from a blitz and hit Michael Irvin. I think of all the plays that year, that could be one of the Cowboys' biggest.
This is a San Francisco timeout. That's all they have left. Kosar 5 out of 9, and that's what they brought him here for.
And he probably won't be here next year. You know, Jimmy Johnson said he talked to him the other day, and he wants to go someplace and play.
And start.
Alvin Harper, again, he came up with a big play. Same type of thing. He's laughing about those guys trying to jump in front of those slants.
The technical crew, the guys who support us, our thanks to them for a tremendous job. To Carl Slickspear, who stands next to me, tells me what happened.
Harris Barton there saying hello.
Rich Nelson, George Graffio.
Always feel good when they're in the booth with you. And again, on the 49ers sideline, you know, just knowing that the season's over, and again, the guy I was eating tamales with got those tamales
That's
going.
what got him well.
Yeah, it sure did. Raikman, the talk will be, you know, how will he be for next week?
The big Carl.
Jimmy Johnson, he'll like that guarantee he gave on the radio the other night. He'll probably give another one for the Super Bowl.
Jerry Jake's been in the booth with us all this year, making things easier for John and me. Kosar again kneels.
This could be, you know, it could be an early kneel down start. I mean, when you start before the 2-minute warning, yeah, I think they're brass, especially when you have 2 Super Bowls in a row. That'll tend to brassen things up.
Yep.
But George Seifert has done an outstanding job too. I mean, you know, you talk about guys living in shadows, and you know, Steve Young living in the shadow of Joe Montana, but George Seifert living in the shadow of Bill Walsh has been, again, quietly very effective.
I think that's a shadow that's just about disappeared. Jet back to punt it. Nobody back deep. And watch it bounce sideways. And that's been the kind of day it's been for the Cowboys and the 49ers. That ball on AstroTurf has got to bounce through the end zone. But on a day like today, it just sits down.
You know, you talk about people that have done a heck of a job building things. How about Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson and the coaching staff? And, you know, I mean, they came in here when another 1-1 game. Built it all the way to a Super Bowl champion a year ago, and coming back to the Super Bowl again this year.
They have done almost an unbelievable job, those two. Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson. Taking this franchise, it was 1-15 in their first year, to 2 Super Bowls in a row. That's hard to do. Steve Young. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, you're watching the NFC Championship game on CBS between San Francisco and Dallas. 60 Minutes will come up next, and will be seen in its entirety after this game, except on the West Coast and in the Mountain Time Zone.
Look, they already have T-shirts, Pat. Jimmy Johnson says something the other night, and then they make T-shirts up with it. Jerry Jones is a smart owner. He goes to see the most valuable player in the league to see how he's feeling for next week. You know, and those things are important now. You know, you start talking about health when you only have 1 week between the championship game and the Super Bowl. All those, you know, how is Emmitt Smith? How is Troy Aikman? How are they going to be? How is Russell Maryland? How is Charles Haley? I mean, how are they going to be quickly next week?
That 1 week makes a big difference. And most of the people around the NFL, including Jerry Jones, says we don't want that to happen again. They want there to be that 2-week period after this championship game before the Super Bowl.
And if that's what he wants, that's probably what's going to happen.
You're probably right. Young to Jamie Williams. And that's the 2-minute warning. Rice.
I think it was lit in Athens. Athens, North Dakota, I think, is where that thing started.
No. Greece, isn't it?
Okay. No, the other one is in Greece. We started ours in Athens, North Dakota, and went up to Alaska.
Our thanks also, John, to Wayne Fiddleman, who's been with us year long and furnished us with valuable statistics. Ricky Water, incomplete.
Here comes the bath.
Look out.
Charles Haley and Leon Lett. Whoa! You know, if there's one guy that would lead it would be Charles Haley.
Yeah. Did not even mess up the part.
No, the hair didn't even move.
Yeah,
look at it.
It gave a little bit, but it snapped right back.
It left. That's the only thing that stopped him coaching for a moment.
Right.
You see that? But the whole crowd was into it. The fans saw the whole thing coming.
Steve Young still firing for Rice. Incomplete.
You ever wonder what one of these things looked like in slow motion? That's the effect of slow motion. I'll tell you, if you're going to do it, it takes 2 big defensive linemen to do it, and they did it well.
And it came off that hair like water off a duck.
Tell you, winning is great, Pat.
Well, as Dan Reeves of the Giants said to us earlier, there is no high like a Sunday afternoon in a victory.
Up, and you're going to the Super Bowl, and doesn't get any better than that.
Jamie Williams will get a 49er first down. The Cowboys try to rip it loose, but they're going to say he was down, and he was. But the clock doesn't stop. 1 minute. 1 minute left. Most career postseason receiving yards goes now to Jerry Rice.
Yeah, and he got more postseason yardage than 2 of my old receivers, Cliff Branch and Fred Biletnikoff.
Former, you never say old.
Yeah, former. They were great players.
There's a guy who goes unnoticed and who does really a good job. Mark Tuinei.
Mark Tuinei, number 71. I think you talk about a guy who's maybe underrated, maybe even underappreciated, but he's been out there, and he's been out there for a long time at that left tackle, an 11-year veteran, you know, protecting the backside of the quarterback. And
Steve Young has his pass deflected and incomplete. There is, boy, what a future he's got.
Yep, I think, you know, I mean, look at the size of him. I mean, how'd you like to have to play against him and try and get around you? You know, and most offensive linemen are a little passive. This guy plays like a defensive player. Look at Leon Lett. They copped his hat.
The Big Cat lost his hat.
Yeah, I mean, the game's not even over, and they cop Big Cat's hat. You can't cop a man's hat before the game's over.
Yeah, Jerry's got a new shirt.
You know, where are those things if you don't win? I mean, where are the 49ers stuff like that?
Jimmy Williams makes the reception, and 30 seconds remain. Kevin Gogan will be a free agent after this is over. He said to us the other day, I'm going to take a look at it and make sure I don't slip through a crack.
335 pounds, you don't slip through any cracks.
Jimmy's ready to get this thing over.
What's Emmitt Smith doing? He's standing there by Jimmy. He took off the shoulder pads. He's starting to coach. He's telling guys to get back.
I think it's a little early for him to coach.
Yeah, everyone has a get-back coach, you know, to get the guys back away from the sideline. That's what Emmitt's doing. He takes the pads off, and he's a get-back coach.
That's Rich Dalrymple there with his arms folded. What a job he's done. We want to thank him for his help over the years.
Yeah, the guy right there, Rich Dalrymple. He's been in the area of PR guys. He's a superstar.
The best to work with. A lot of smiles on that side.
Well, going to the Super Bowl will put smiles on your face. You know, you can talk about money and what football is, but it's winning a Super Bowl and having that ring, because that ring stays with you the rest of your life.
Bernie Kosar, as you said, John, he probably won't be here next year, but he came in and did the job when he had to. Young is going up overhead, a flag on the play. It's out of the end zone and incomplete, but there's a penalty marker down. As Ken Norton's now the get-back coach. He's taken over.
I think the get-back coaches want the game to get over so they can get in the locker room and start getting ready for next week.
Start packing the bags for Atlanta.
Automatic first down.
Automatic first down. 3 seconds left.
Look,
Dallas 38-21.
Ken Norton's on the field himself. The get-back coach can't even get on the sideline. I think the officials give up in this area of the game and say, let him celebrate. This is a championship. This is a championship. This is winning. This is going to Super Bowls. This is the best feeling you can ever have.
Down out of the stands onto the sideline. And it is indeed a great feeling. Mike Lurvin over for a visit. Jimmy Johnson and Emmitt Smith trying to get through that crowd. That's going to be a tough job. That final score here at Texas Stadium is Dallas 38, San Francisco 21.